Alright, boys and germs, welcome to the Daily Crack today. You're like, where the fuck is he today? Well, I'm in the Rave Rotunda. This is just down the way from where I would normally do my Daily Crack, but because it's piss and rain today, I'm under the Rotunda. But I've got a nice view of the old Westgate in the background. So fucking happy days. Not down at Williamstown yet, but I'll be heading there later on. So I popped up a post there yesterday asking people what did they struggle with their health, giving them three options: training, nutrition, or was it nutrition first, training and mindset. And a lot of the common answers were either the nutrition or the mindset. People either train or they don't train, and I kind of know that, this is what I notice a lot about where people have their downfalls is they prioritize training over everything else because they think more hours in the gym or more running or more lifting weights is going to get them their results. I'm going to level you up a little bit, give them results better. Well, really and truly, it's all about what goes in the cake hole and understanding how that works. But there's two things I want to touch on today, and it's over-complicating nutrition and the guilt around eating food. Okay, this needs to stop. This needs to stop, and it needs to stop quickly. So let's first of all reduce this down and make it super easy to understand. There's lots of diets out there, lots of different types of ones, nutritional protocols, whatever you want to fucking want to call them, but they all work around the same principles, and the same principle is a calorie deficit, not overeating, not over-consuming, eating the right amount of calories, the right amount of energy for your body, because you are an engine, you're like a car. There's a certain capacity of fuel that it can take to get it from A to B. Once that fuel runs out, it needs to be filled up again. If you don't put enough in, you won't be able to last the distance, and if you overflood the tank, you're going to fucking make a mess. And in our case, if you overflood the tank, we store it, and we store it as fat. So it's understanding your calorie target. Now, it's once you pick a calorie target and you work within it, you see how you go for a couple of weeks. Maybe you need to adjust it. That's what I do in my program. I help people adjust their energy intake to allow them to get through their days better, to incorporate exercise, to incorporate their life, to incorporate looking after kids, all that sort of stuff. So that is the first thing. It's understanding that it's taking in the right amount of energy, the right number of calories. Okay. The second thing that's important to understand about nutrition is, and probably the only other thing really and truly when it comes to general population wanting to be fit and healthy, make sure you're consuming enough protein. Okay, let me say that again. Make sure you're consuming enough protein. Okay, the right calorie target, the right amount of energy in, and consuming enough protein. Protein will do a lot of things for the body. I'm not saying only eat protein, but I'm saying make sure you're getting enough. Normally, I would say about 30% of your calorie intake for the day is an appropriate amount of protein to be getting. Why protein? Because it helps build and repair. It also helps the body feel satiated. If you're going to do anything by watching this video, anything at all, what I would recommend is starting your day by eating a high protein breakfast. Okay? If you're to do nothing else, do that. You'll see improvements. Okay? That's enough about the nutrition, because it can go on and go on and go on about simplifying it, but the simplest thing I'm going to say to you is fucking eat a high protein breakfast and watch your body change, watch your life change. Okay, so the next thing is the most important thing is to stop feeling guilty. Okay? People are putting a huge amount of guilt on themselves around eating food. This is what I see all the time. What happens is people try and do something, and then they think they have a slip because they've had some chocolate, or they've had KFC, or they've gone to Hungry Jack's or something like that, and then oh fuck it, they throw in the towel. We have to stop feeling so guilty about living our lives, about eating food, because this is not going to help us. And this comes back to the mindset of how you see yourself, the limiting beliefs, whether you're worth it or not. And there's a lot of times that stuff stems from past experiences. But what I want to say to you is you have to understand that in a pinch, in some parts of the world, there's people that don't have the options of food that we do. So by you feeling guilty about eating a certain type of food and then shooting yourself in the foot and then like losing momentum, it's setting you back and it's doing you no favors, because there's people in other parts of the world that if they had that food, that would be good food. So understand this. There's a good, better, best scenario. Foods that are good, foods that are better, foods that are best. There's no such thing as bad food. There's no such thing as wrong food. There's no such thing as a fucked up, okay? If you come back to the start of what I said, if you're keeping your food inside a calorie target, eat the fuck what you want. You can have McDonald's every single day. As long as you stay inside your calorie target, your body will change. It's as simple as that. So the guilt that you feel around eating foods is not necessary. And sometimes what this happens, why this happens is people go into too great a calorie deficit or try to change things too extremely, too quickly. When you do that, when you remove things from your diet or you take too much of a calorie deficit, then when you have the slightest thing at all, you feel, oh fuck, I fucked all this up. But really and truly, that's not the case. You're allowed to eat whatever you like, and you're allowed to not feel guilty about doing that. So in my program, that's what I try to bring into people's life, a bit of realism about food. That it's about enjoying food. It's about living your life. If you want to eat pizza and have a beer at the fucking weekend or in the middle of the week, fucking do that. Just make it part of your calorie target. You know, don't overcomplicate things. Don't think the recipes have to be super elaborate and, you know, contain quinoa and green stuff and yellow stuff and more tomatoes and less cheese and all this. That's not the way to think about this stuff. Stop overcomplicating it. All food is good. There's just the good, better, best scenario. And consume what you like and be a human and enjoy your process of being fit and healthy. Okay? So don't overcomplicate things. And stop feeling guilty. Stop feeling guilty about the foods you're eating, because all food is good. Simple as. That's the Daily Crack for today. Giddy up.